Hello, my friends. AmyR here with Prairie Paper and Ink. Welcome back to my face and my card making space and another video with a couple of fairly simple cards. Today I am part of an Instagram hop for the Alex Syberia Designs October release, and I will have all the links, the link to my Instagram, blog post, supplies, etc. That'll be linked directly below the video. It's always worth when I'm doing hops and things like that, whether it be a blog hop, Instagram hop, YouTube hop, etc., to check those out because there's always links to other participants, so inspiration, giveaways, all that kind of stuff. So for that, check out the link to my Instagram below. And yeah, I did a little bit of rainbow stenciling, splatter, little bit of bling, fun things. So if you keep watching, I will show you guys how I made these cards. So I'm using the Alex Syberia Designs Trendy Pattern Stencil Set. And this first chunk of the video, totally didn't realize I was super zoomed in. This was like one of those situations where it was kind of a comedy of errors on my end, where it just I'm a professional, you know. I've been doing this for a long time. I'm like so good. I'm being sarcastic. I just kind of find it funny. Anyway, I will zoom out in a bit. You'll immediately see the difference. But anywho, since I'm stenciling, I'm using my Waffle Flower grip mats because I love them. I've got two here. I have the big 8.5-inch square one, and I have the little 6-inch by 6-inch one. Do you need more than one? Technically no, but I happen to have them. And I like convenience. So I have one to hold what will be my card front panel, and then the other one's holding what will be the inside of my card. It's holding the card base. And this Trendy pattern stencil set, it's a set of 3, and it builds like kind of a geometric pattern, which I've talked about geometric patterns in previous videos, like whether it be like stamps, stencils, dies, whatever. I really like them. I always find when I first look at them, I'm just like, kind of whatever. But then once I actually start playing with them, it's like, oh, these work for everything. So they're actually kind of one of my favorites because they just work. You know, you can use them for whatever you want and then put florals on top or images or just whatever. You know what I mean? And a stencil set like this too, I was like, after I did like this video, I was like, oh, you could use just one stencil, do a pattern. You could use one of the other ones. Like, they don't have to be layered. And then I was also thinking color combos because, of course, I went rainbow because I love all things rainbow. But then I was like, ooh, this would look really pretty in, like, blues and aquas. Or do a whole thing in, like, yellows. Or, switching up colors completely changes the look, So anyway, I do what I always do. So I do, like, the full strength color with the card front panel, and then without putting ink on my brush or anything else, I move the stencil to what will be the inside of the card, and using much lighter pressure depending on the tool, inks, all the things, and not re-inking. I do just a lighter version on the inside of the card so that I still get the pattern, some color, some interest on the inside of the card. And I will link to all the colors I used. I used almost all Simon Says Stamp Positively Saturated inks, except for the yellow was Concord 9th BUTTERCUP. I went with for me, I call this a muted rainbow. It's not in your face, super bright, intense colors. I went just a step lighter in a sense. So I did the first stencil, I used blush and CANTALOUPE inks. And then the second stencil, I'm using that BUTTERCUP Concord 9th ink, and then I'm going to use Simon's TROPIC Positively Saturated ink. And they're super, again, because it's a geometric pattern, they're just super easy to line up. Stick it down, good to go. And I just used blending brushes for this and kind of blended the two colors I use per stencil kind of into each other just to get a little bit of a blend going on. And then same thing. Oh yeah, and you see, I realized when I actually looked at my camera screen, I was like, oh, dude, zoomed out a bit. So you guys weren't like with your face like right into those panels. So zoomed out a bit, and then did the second stencil went to the inside of the card, lighter version, no re-inking, just pale, because regardless of what I add to the insides of my cards, I try to keep the stamping lighter, stenciling lighter, whatever it is I'm adding, with the intention of I've got to be able to write over this with a pen and it not compete with that or make it hard to read what I'm writing. So just keep repeating the process. I did 2 cards for this video, but it's definitely one of those ones where it's like if you wanted to make like a whole batch or do them in color themes or whatever, you totally could. It would just be simple. So for the final stencil, I used Cadette ink and violet ink, and same idea. Worked even though it's like there's not a whole lot of leeway to do any sort of like blending between the colors because it's just those little like basically diamond shaped squares. Same thing. Still sort of blended them like into each other. So then I've got like a rainbow of colors on these panels. Another option too, I was like, ooh, the final stencil would look really nice with like some like glitter paste or just embossing paste, something metallic or glittery or whatever. I was like, that would look really pretty too. Or if you really had the patience to let each one dry, you could do each stencil in like pastes and do different colors. You would just have to let each layer dry before going on to the next stencil. So if you're doing multiples, that wouldn't be too bad either. The ideas start kind of rolling afterwards. Anyway, after I was done my stenciling, I also used the coordinating Trendy pattern cover die, which coordinates with this, but also can totally be used on its own. And this is another one of those geometric type things where I'd be like, ooh, I would totally just use this as is and do like white on white and then add, whatever it is you want on top of it, because I love that, like that texture it adds. So yeah, I don't know, there's something about this little like collection that I was just like loving. So what I did was I just die cut some more of Simon's smooth white 120 pound cardstock, and I die cut 2 layers and layered them together. I didn't do 3. I didn't feel it was necessary. Simon's cardstock is super heavyweight. If you're using lighter weight cardstock, you might want to do 3 layers just to give it, a bit of dimension. And I glued them together with craft tacky glue, glued it over the stencil backgrounds, and then of course I added splatter, because why would I not? So I used my Gansai Tombi Starry Colors, the gold, as is tradition, with my little fan brush, put those in my splat box, and heavily added quite a bit of gold splatter to both of these backgrounds, just cause. And then for my sentiment, I'm using the large smile die from the Alex Syberia October release. And this portion of the filming, it sounds ridiculous because it's like you can see it, but from my view where I was sitting, I don't see that reflection. I had my big overhead lights on. These things they're like spotlights, and that's why I don't turn them on for when I'm filming, because they're nuts. They're actually painful to look at. Anyway, I in the back of my mind as I was doing this portion, I was just like, man, it's really bright in here today. It's like, yeah, no, really, yeah, because the huge, I didn't realize until I was done filming this and like had to go on to do some other things, and I was like, yep, left the big light on, because again, from where I was sitting, I don't see the reflection, but I'm not going to refilm all this, but you can see like it causes like shadows and stuff. There's all the reasons why I don't have that light on, but wasn't thinking and had it on this time. So anyway, I die cut 1 layer of just white cardstock, and then I used 1 layer of Simon's matte gold cardstock for the sentiments. And again, I found that this was enough because both cardstocks are thick, but I've already got the layers of the trendy pattern cover, so there's like 2 layers of that and then 2 layers of sentiment. So I was like, that's enough layers, like that's building a good amount of dimension. And again, I'm working with heavyweight, very sturdy cardstock. If it was lighter weight, sometimes depending on what you're aiming for, you might need to do more layers, etc. So I had adhered the sentiments, stuck into these cards, and I ended up deciding not to add any other like stamped sentiment strips, anything like that. I thought about it, but then I was like, no, I kind of like with just the smile word. That kind of leaves it a little more open. This kind of makes it so I can use this for sort of any occasion. And same with the inside. I decided not to stamp any sentiments. I was like, no, I like this because then I can just keep it to whatever I need it for. It's kind of nice to have those kind of cards in your stash that just are a little more open-ended and not very specific. So my final little bit was I still added a little bit of bling because of course I'm going to add a little bit of bling. So I used my just go-to favorite, the Studio Caudia gold sparkle crystals, adhered those, and that finished off these cards. So really had fun with this stencil set. I really love the font and the size of that smile die because these are A2 size cards, so 4¼ by 5½. So they're hefty. I like it. So like I mentioned in the intro, I will have links below the video to all of the things, my Instagram, blog post, supplies, etc. So you can check that out below if you are interested. Thank you all so very much for watching, thumbs upping, commenting, subscribe if you haven't, and I'll see you all very soon in the next one. Bye.